And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another weekend edition here of the PondCast episode number 100, your weekly dose of all things StarCraft. I'm, of course, just VIP, with time joined by these amazing players and by the people in the chat as well. Welcome, one and all.
Hold
Do you
on.
have anything else been
Hold on.
Oh.
1 second. 1 second, guys. Soon, TM, we will have Light VIP actually on screen. Don't worry about it. Technical difficulties. Technical difficulties.
But yes, we are back with the PondCast, and of course we talk all things StarCraft and StarCraft adjacent as well. Your weekly talk show. Let's go. Let us go. Weekly wrap-up show. When it comes to today, when it comes to this week, it is a little bit earlier in the week than usual, so there's a little bit less to discuss and less to talk about. We still have some of the open cups on the horizon. They've still yet to conclude, so there's going to be a little bit less to speak on, but the reason for this is because we do not have a lot of time throughout the course of this week, especially with Crank Gathers on the horizon, with the other open cups as well. There's going to be a lot of StarCraft, and we got to fit in the PondCast somewhere. We got to fit it in somewhere. And we've chosen for it to be today. Let's go. Let us go. As up first, we do have some interviews by the SE Historian. If you recall, last week we did go over some of the interviews with TKL, with the SE Historian, but he actually went through the entirety, basically, of the French scene. And this week, we can discuss interviews done with ShaDoWn and with DnS. First, I should also emphasize, it's not ShaDoWn, it's ShaDoWn. I need to... like shadow with an N at the end. So I've been pronouncing it wrong for years. But yes, did have some interviews with our ex-players. I say ex-players, of course, because both DnS and ShaDoWn at this point are in the twilight years of their careers when it comes to pro gaming. ShaDoWn, he retired quite some time ago, if you recall. I want to say he retired around the same time that Berserker Esports disbanded. I want to say they came hand in hand, if I recall correctly, and just catching up with ShaDoWn, discussing his time competing, of course, his time returning to the game, away from the game as well. ShaDoWn even emphasizing that he's returning due to some local regional events that TKL, that Comeback TV are going to be hosting in France, but really only for that. He doesn't really intend to return in any kind of big capacity like he did previously, which is a bit of a shame. ShaDoWn is one of those players that always had a little potential. I still remember seeing him compete for the Platinum Heroes and later Berserker Esports in WTL, in World Team League, and ShaDoWn alongside DnS had a lot of potential, and they honestly had some really big spikes when it comes to their performances in World Team League, but alas, they have since then stepped away and taken a step back. But still, of course, ingrained in the French scene and the French community, which we do appreciate. We do definitely appreciate it for sure. ShaDoWn just letting us know a little bit more about his time competing, letting us know that he first started when it comes to RTSs and gaming, when it comes to Age of Empires 2, might I add, for ShaDoWn, getting into gaming, getting into Warcraft, eventually into StarCraft as well. And it was just really nice to hear, just because ShaDoWn, he's one of those players that kind of really, at least for me, popped up post Dankshrine. When I think of player interviews in recent years, or just in just period, I'll say that that Dankshrine, they did do the majority of them, right? In more recent years, this would have been what, like 2020-ish, 2019, 2020, 2021. Kind of stepping into that role of just finding whoever they could and having these fun interviews with almost every player in the scene at a certain point. It was crazy. But of course, like they came, they went, they ended up stopping and disbanding, of course. And since then, we haven't really had anyone kind of step in and take their place. I would say that like Ravi did some in-person interviews every now and then. We would maybe get a guest on like the Pylon show, for example, but even that wouldn't be a proper interview. It just, they'd be as a guest, they'd already be more of an established player. And there is definitely a gap when it comes to content that can be made here. The SE Historian, of course, he did step in and he's been running interviews in the more recent years since then, of course, mostly in person, but now has shown us that he's willing to do these interviews via Discord and online. I think these are his first online interviews, by the way, if I recall correctly. Again, historically for the SE Historian, it would always be in person, but specifically for Masters of the Game, it looks like he was brought on to host them and to hold them online instead. And this does open up potential for covering some of these other players that kind of rose and fell during this period where there wasn't really much content being made. Referring to players like ShaDoWn, DnS, referring to Cristiano. Geralt, he was interviewed recently by the SC Historian, but before him, I mean, no one had. Jumi, likewise as well, from the SC Historian in recent times, but before that, like, there's very little content like this around a lot of these like younger players that kind of rose up during that COVID era. So yeah, I feel like there's a lot of content that there's a lot there that can be brought to light. It's kind of crazy that ShaDoWn and DnS have been around for as long as they have, but especially from outside of the French scene, like, I haven't really heard from them in this kind of capacity. So yeah, I do appreciate that the SC Historian stepped in and was able to conduct these interviews, and really, to me, just shows me just how many players we have, even that are active or semi-active right now, that like we don't really get to see that more personal side of them. We just see them compete, but we don't get to see much more than that. I don't know, like referring to Fiant, referring to Mixu, referring to Iba. Some of these guys, they do stream on their personal channels, of course, so it's a little bit different, but some of them don't, right? Thinking of Baby Marine, thinking of Moja, thinking of Battle B, thinking of Akedon, thinking of all these guys, right? Like that kind of like rose and fell. So yeah, I do appreciate this was done. I would hope that this might even prompt the SC Historian to delve a little bit further into this side of things, of, you know, actually having some of these interviews done online. Again, I feel like he was probably commissioned to do this for Maestros, where they wanted him, because they all have ads for Maestros of the game, so it's very we've seen the SC Historian do this before, where he was commissioned by StreamerZone to specifically follow and interview the StreamerZone players for DreamHack, I want to say, for one of the offline events in the Americas. So he's done that before. It feels like maybe something similar was done here, where he was commissioned to interview the French scene and the pillars of the French scene, to be able to kind of bring more attention as a bit of a promotional piece for Maestros of the game. And I'm hoping that outside of, you know, that kind of circumstance, he's willing to maybe reach out to some of these other players and host these interviews and be able to, you know, learn a little bit more about these players, you know, before they step away even as well. Because again, there's been players that have kind of risen and fallen and have kind of stepped out of the limelight already without us getting to see a little bit more of their personal side. Regardless, we appreciate it. Likewise, this was done with DnS as well. DnS's was, I would say, especially because he's been around a lot longer, I felt like the interview was a little bit more in depth. It was really cool to hear him talk about his time being an active competitor, right, with Petit Drogo, with Lil Bao as well, living in a team house together, practicing together, training together. It was, again, because ShaDoWn kind of stepped into the limelight a little bit later, like he'd already kind of, that era had already come and gone. So it was really cool to see DnS kind of give a little bit more insight as to that kind of lifestyle and that kind of aspect of his career even as well, talking about his rise and getting into StarCraft to begin with, of course, and even some more interpersonal matters as well when it comes to his family, when it comes to his relationship with his family as well, and getting motivation from that. It was nice. It was nice. I did appreciate DnS opening up, whereas otherwise it seems like he otherwise would not. Showing maybe a different side to himself, of course, and getting a little bit further in depth into you know, his own career, despite the fact that he's still in StarCraft in his own way, but of course more so in content creation. He's making videos, even making some more experimental stuff with like Who Wants to Be Like a Millionaire, or having like these like little like video essays as well. Like he's been experimenting when it comes to what kind of content to make, and it's been cool to see him kind of step into that role in the scene. And yeah, shout out to the I kind of wish that the SC Historian spoke a little bit more about that side of things, because the SC Historian's interview was very much so about his career, his introduction to StarCraft, his career, less so about what he does currently, which is, again, not just coaching, which he did start his own coaching website, of course, that is true, but not just coaching, but also that other aspect of content creation, right? Like making those videos, those fun videos with, you know, with Euthermal, with Clem, like, you know, these like questionnaire videos, or again, the video essayists that he's now kind of stepping into as well. Would have been nice to have heard, you know, what inspired him to do these things, whether he plans on doing more, whether he's still just kind of like going full variety and kind of branching out and kind of seeing what he likes, seeing what he doesn't like, and then before he kind of like picks a road to go down. yeah, it would have been nice to have heard something more about the modern DNS and what he's up to. But regardless, it was still nice to hear from both players, nonetheless, from both DNS and ShaDoWn to I would say, yeah, ex-pro players at this point from different eras in their own way and having different experiences, but still centralized in France and still around, comeback TV and gaming and that kind of period of time. So it was really cool. It was really cool to hear, and I do appreciate it. There's still more interviews to come, for sure. We still have to go through, I say more interviews, really just one, the funky interview, the big one, probably the big one. So we'll be getting into that eventually, and likewise, there's a lot more to get into in regards to the Comeback Kid and some more Comeback TV related content. So we will get around to it starting next week. We'll get there. We will get there. Likewise, up next, we did get some news here that officially Xeritus Esports have disbanded. I'll be honest, I thought they kind of silently stepped away a long time ago. If you remember, Xeritus Esports, they're speaking of the COVID era, they also kind of hit the StarCraft 2 scene back in 2021, 2022 era of StarCraft, kind of creating their own Latin American esports team, supporting Latin American players, and that did last a little bit of time before they kind of stepped away. Looking a little bit further into Xeritus Esports, looks like they did branch out into Dota and other esports scenes, where they also had some success as well. So it was really cool to see. But for the most part, when it comes to StarCraft, they hadn't really been too ingrained in StarCraft in quite some time. Recently, Cham did join them, and they competed in the Woody TV Team League for that one kind of brief one-off thing. If you remember, they formed a team with Cham, with Special, and with Eggs. I will say they all played together. I think they joined temporarily, as it was just mainly Cham on Xeritus for that period. So it was really cool that they were supporting some players in more recent times, but again, it's been very sporadic, at least in StarCraft. So it was really cool that they were able to be a part of the StarCraft scene for the time that they had. But again, it feels like, especially in recent years, they were more focused on other esports like Dota and other esports as well. But again, officially they have disbanded starting July the 4th, 2026. So it is, again, a bit of a shame. Latin American esports, especially when it comes to StarCraft, has been waning for quite some time. Nowadays, it's Insane Master Killers and the Brazilian teams, and that's kind of it. Whereas back in the day, we had a lot more, we had a bigger roster for Unidos por el Vicio. We had teams like Papillas, of course, the Chilean team. We had Rebirth. True. Those are the days. Alpha X Latino America. But again, a lot of those teams have since kind of disbanded. And Latin American region has definitely shrunk over time, has shrunk quite a bit. But it was cool that Xeritus was with us with the time that we had with them, of course. So GG, wishing the best moving forward, as again they're going to be stepping away. Up next is the StarCraft Illusion Complete, patch 1.20.2. We might find out about this, but I believe
this was released literally just now. This is the freshest news we've got.
Yeah. I'm a little bit concerned, but hopefully, as we get into this, Hyper One and the SE Evo team have the wherewithal not to do too much of this mid-tournament for Crank Gathers. Not just Crank Gathers, but this even will be impacting the Season 3 Ladder Invitational as well. So, yeah. I would hope that they're not too trigger happy to mess with things too much. Obviously, we only just had the qualifier for the Crank Gathers event. The Crank Gathers event is just now going to be starting, but again, it is going to be impacting, say, the Ladder Invitational, which I would hope that they don't want to negatively impact that too much. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what's going to be made here. It looks like it might just be some hot fixes, some slight changes here and there. We'll see. Patch 1.20.2 contains incremental balance adjustments ahead of the Crank Gather Season 4 group stage. This statement concerns me a little bit because they specify group stage, which means they might feel like it's okay to maybe even drop a patch after, post group stage leading to the playoffs. I would hope that isn't the case, but we'll see. We shall see as we do step into the main event. Let's go. New feature? Oh, okay. It's there's a visual. That's interesting. Looks like there's a visual indicator for when a unit misses with their attack. Huh. Okay. Let's get into it. One of the most significant features distinguishing StarCraft Evolution from StarCraft 2 is the addition of mischance mechanics. True. In SEVO, ground range units have a 46.875, again, just under 50% chance of missing their attack when targeting a ground unit on a high cliff face or, I believe, obscured vision. And both ground and air units have a 46.87% chance of missing their attack when targeting a ground unit inside a line of sight blocker. Yeah, there you go. Grass. However, new players often do not notice that their units are missing their targets in combat and misattribute the outcome of their fight to other causes such as strength or lack thereof of their units. To introduce new players to mischance mechanics as well as better indicate to veteran players when an attack has missed, we're adding a new visual indicator. When a ranged unit misses an attack, a red miss icon will flash above it. We've also localized this icon into a variety of language for non-English locale users. We believe this change will greatly improve both player and spectator experience, and we look forward to seeing it in action. Credits to Cats for designing the mischance. Interesting. Like, it's one of those things where, yeah, I'm very much so on the fence about this. Hopefully it isn't too obtrusive when it comes to a fight and when it comes to just the visual that you're getting, just because it's gonna be more things flashing on screen. I guess you could argue that it's nice. It's one of those things that is, I would say, obvious for units with a low attack rate. Like, I think purposely they're showing this for Marines, but when it comes to like Dragoons or tanks, like as we mentioned, like lower attack rate units, it is very clear when a unit misses just because no damage is done. But of course, like, I understand the need to do it for something like this, like whether it's Marines, whether it's Hydras, higher attack rate units, it's harder to really see, it's harder to judge, it's harder to kind of visualize that. As they mentioned, especially for newer viewers and newer players. Yeah, it's interesting. Again, like, to me, we'll have to. I mean, we'll get used to it. We'll see soon when it comes to Grant Gathers whether it's too obtrusive, whether maybe it has to flash a little bit less, maybe it has to be faded back a little bit more, maybe it's not prominent enough. That visual look and that visual change. I mean, we'll see. Hopefully, again, it isn't too distracting. Even that's going to be the big concern at times. Interesting. Meanwhile, coming into the okay, yeah, we have some balance changes. Oh boy, this is rough just because Crank Gathers it's tomorrow. It's literally tomorrow. So the idea of dropping balance changes less than 24 hours, or I guess 24 hours. 24 hours before an event is crazy.
I can let you know right now. There will be players who will just straight up not know that there were changes.
Yeah. And you could argue that maybe, and we'll get into it, maybe these changes are insignificant enough where maybe it doesn't matter. If that's the case, why do it to begin with? So, like, I would imagine that there is going to be impact here with these changes. It is a shame, though, because I'm sure a lot of players were preparing themselves and getting ready for the Crank event, which is tomorrow, and to suddenly drop this 24 hours prior is insane. Yeah, that is kind of crazy. Right, eBay. Decreased build time. This is like Blizzard. This is Blizzard PTR levels of. True. Where bam, they dropped the patch like mid tournament last week, or when the patch went live. We're doing that here as well. 24 hours prior, but yeah. Let's go. eBay. Decreased build time from 28.6 to 25 seconds. Missile turret decreased attack damage. From 18.75 to 15, and damage versus armor 25 to 20. That's a substantial change. We felt that the combat efficiency of missile turrets at the cost of 75 minerals was too high relative to other static defense structures. In particular, they are overly effective against corruptors, vipers, overlords, overseers in late game against SE2 Zerg. Historical justification that missile turrets need their current strength to hold up against mutalisks, I would imagine, is the immobility. Against mutants and phoenixes no longer seems to apply given how little room exists to reduce those units against Brood War Terran. And in any case, we think we could stand to see them more often here. This is a bold move. they didn't really touch on it too much here, but again, the rationale, in my experience, behind the strength of a missile turret is due to the immobility of Brood War Terran compared to the SE2 Terran player. So trying to keep up with whether it's muta play, whether it's drop play, that is more difficult. I guess this also does depend on, right, I was going to say that especially because muta play is a little bit more accessible now, just because of the most recent buffs, but if you recall, I believe SC Evo don't incorporate them, but I'm not entirely sure about the arc slop change, for example. Like the arc slop change was made to the mutalist to make it more microable. I don't know if that's implemented in StarCraft Evolution, that change specifically. So yeah, interesting. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Again, like I would hope that if again at this point, I would hope that if there's an issue with this, and if the lack of strength of the turret means that muta play is stronger in ZVT, I would hope that they wait until the event ends before changing things. Like I would hope that they have the decency to do that, but we'll see. Scrolling down, we have the medic. Decrease optical flare research time from 64.3 to 57.1. Valkyrie decreased build time as well. Looks like we're changing values to core units. Okay, the core values. We're back. We're back. Science Vessel increased build time from 39.3 to 42.9. Increased movement speed from 3.85 to 3.94. An effort to further hinder the rate at which Brood War Terran can assemble its ideal late game composition against SE2 Zerg, we are nerfing the Science Vessel's build time. This brings its build time in line with those of the Banshee, Liberator, and the pre 5.0.11 rework Raven. Movement speed changes is a correction to the core. So I would also hope, I can't speak to the SEL Masters tournament because we're going to be discussing the quarterfinals later. I would hope that these changes aren't a reaction to the SEL Masters event, but I guess we'll see. A lot of these changes are talking about late game play when it comes to the turrets used in late game, it says here, specifically against Corruptors and Vipers, and likewise talking about the Science Vessel growth when it comes to late game with ZVT. Once again, I haven't really seen much late game TVZ at all as of late. I have to imagine this maybe occurred in the recent SEL Masters tournament, but yeah, it's interesting. Definitely interesting here. As to the rationale as to why these changes are being made, just because I haven't seen them myself. But again, I didn't watch the SEL Masters tournament, but it is just one event. Is also the thing. Sorry, not SEL Masters. Sorry, I misspoke. I was meant to say the SEL Ladder Season Invitational Quarterfinals. That's it. That's what I was referring to. As that was the most recent event. Scrolling down, we have the Protoss changes. Dark Archon decreased feedback cooldown from 0.94 to 0. Okay. This lands with cooldown ability without the High Templar to be able to feedback. Cool. Reaver increased sight range from 8 to 9. Okay, is this a reversion, I believe? Yeah. Reduce sight range from 9 to 8, now going back to 8 to 9, to discourage leaving Reavers unattended and make it easier to ambush unattended Reavers. However, this reduction does not seem to be having the intended effect, and is also getting in the way of standard Reaver usage with shuttles, so we are reverting it. Cool. Interesting. I would say probably the biggest changes are the Terran. I mean, the most changes here, but the Terran changes. And yeah, we'll see how this all does unfold. Obviously, the other big change is the new feature is the mischance kind of alert feature. Again, I guess we'll see if it's intrusive or not when it comes to covering it in the Crank Gatherers event. But it does feel like a very big change that's going to be dropped on the event here. Not just after the other changes and yeah, I guess it'll be the testing ground for that in its own way. Interesting. But yeah, I would hope that regardless of what is found with this, outside of course bug fixes, I would hope that we wouldn't want to negatively impact the tournament and the competitors and the players that are going to be competing in the Crank Gatherers event. So I would hope that we're going to be holding off on like another hotfix patch like this, another update until post tournament. Based on the wording, they might be wanting to do it like post group stage before playoffs. Like they might want to do that, which I'm not too fond of, but we'll see. We'll see. Regardless, interesting changes here have been brought forth. Up next, we do have SE for All. SE for All number 2 has been announced. Has been announced, of course, is going to be the big offline event happening in the Americas. Basically, think of it like HomeStory Cup, but for the Americas. Honestly, the first SE for All was very successful. Very successful. Shout out to the SE Historian, of course, for hosting and for organizing the event last year. Did have SE2, Brood War, and StarCraft. I almost said StarCraft Illusion, but StarCraft 64, which is crazy. And it looks like they want to do the same thing. They want to do the same thing. Once again, 3 events going to be taking place in the in SE for All in the Americas. Will be taking place December 5th and 6th. Let's go. So if you happen to be in the Americas, whether it's Canada, whether it's US of A, whether you happen to be traveling nearing that time period as well, do consider going to SE for All. Do consider it, of course, as tickets are now going to be available. Yeah, we have tickets, we have like the VIP passes, all that good stuff. So do consider checking it out. Do consider supporting regional StarCraft. Again, NA StarCraft has been lacking for quite some time. Shout out to Cheesedelphia, by the way, as they've been hosting their events on a regular basis. It is really cool to see that the SE Historian has been able to, in a way, work with the team there, with the venue at least, to be able to like bolster that event. And I do think it's really smart that the SE Historian decided to merge like multiple events, like SE2 and Brood War, to kind of like bring together multiple scenes and multiple aspects of StarCraft, because at the end of the day, you know, we all do love StarCraft. So it's really cool to see that all come together. And yeah, I look forward to it. Definitely something to look forward to at the end of the year. Look forward to it, Pappy. GG. Likewise, we already have our $10,000 prize pool for StarCraft 2, $2,500 for Brood War, and a $500 winner takes all for StarCraft 64. And I'm sure that's subject to change, of course, depending on the amount of support that they do receive as well. True. Likewise, the trailer has been released. Was released a couple of days ago. But yeah, definitely a lot to look forward to here. I feel like the first event again has a lot to live up to.
Mm-hmm. Fun fact, it was actually announced at HomeStory Cup, so that was a cool little detail. And you had both SE Historian and Stegosaurus on the couch to introduce it.
There you go. But yeah, it looks like Rotterdam is gonna be there, Zumberga, Beomorph is gonna be there as well. Let's go. Okay. So they're gonna have more talent. Beautiful. I mean, I would still like to see some more NA representation there, so I would hope that, you know, Dave Testa, Chicken Man, maybe even Steadfast, maybe. Like, I don't know how hard it is to come down from Canada for an event like this, but I would hope that they can bring together more of like an NA almost purist roster to bring them together, to bring the scene together as well. But regardless, it's really cool to see that they've been able to expand their roster of talent here to make SE for All as best they can. For sure. So look forward to it. Do look forward to it. End of the year, December. Let's go. Up next, when it comes to our events, we did have GSLCK. GSLCK number 5 did take place earlier this week. A very notorious event as well. A very fun format, which it took us a while to get through. We were, of course, the official English casters, the English stream. Shout out to Ryung and Inu for casting in Korean, and Rex, of course, for casting in Taiwanese. When it comes to the event itself, initially we weren't fully aware of the formats, and if you recall, the Wikipedia page did have a different kind of format as well. So I just assumed the Wikipedia page was correct, but it was almost a free for all. It was a King of the Hill kind of free for all. It's no battle royale. That's a better way of putting it. It was a King of the Hill battle royale where the winner would stay on, and then the opposing team from the opposing faction will rotate. So, for example, Bjorn, if Bjorn were to win game 1 as Terran, then he'd have a Protoss opponent. If he defeats a Protoss, then Zerg steps into the ring, and then if they lose, then Protoss steps in, at least until Ryung goes down. Ryung. As an example, of course, and of course, this is on the new patch. Was showcasing that as well. This was a couple of days ago. It began with Bjorn versus Zhang. There's also some more intricacies here. We have some legend players for each team. So we have Armani for Zerg, we have Trap for Protoss, and Innovation for Terran. Because they are quote-unquote legend players, that means that they're retired, basically. It means that when they played, they would have to only win one game in a best of 2. Whenever they played, it'd be a best of 2. They'd only have to win 1 game. Whenever a team captain played, and the team captains were it was originally Hero, fun fact, but it was Zaun, Bjorn, and Shin. Whenever a team captain played, it'd only be a best of 1. But if non-captains played each other, then it'd be a best of 3. So there's it got a little bit messy, got a little bit complex. But that's why you have some best of 1s, some best of 2s, and some best of 3s. Coming into this, we have Zaun versus Bjorn. It was a very close, very clutch game. Honestly, Bjorn was winning and then made some critical mistakes, and he even did allude to that in the winners interview afterwards as well. So Zaun, who was able to bring down Bjorn 1-0 on Ada turning his edge. And then Rogue began his reign of terror. Rogue, he took down Zaun on a Blackrock. As a result, he was able to stay in as the king of the hill. And then we took turns. Terran and Protoss, they united under one common goal to stop Zerg. And Zerg could not be stopped. Rogue, he took down Innovation 2-0 in the best of 2. Took down Trap 2-0 in the best of 2. Took down Maru 2-0 in a best of 3. Took down Classic 2-0 in a best of 3. Took down Hero 2-3 in a best of 3. And took down Hero 2-0 in a best of 3. 2-0 best of 3. 2-0s all around. Rogue, he went 13-0. It was crazy, papi. It was crazy. Mid tournaments, when Rogue played against Maru, for example, Maru he literally told him, he's like, yo, you're gonna win the whole, like you're just gonna all kill. You're gonna all kill everyone. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. As Zerg is very overtuned at the moment. I think everyone is in consensus about this, that Zerg is overtuned. Zerg is has kind of found itself, especially with the larva change and with some of the other changes that have impacted the other races, is heavily favored in tournaments. And Shin, even afterwards, after this event, when we got into the winners interview, Shin even opened up about it as well. Shout out to Kronos. Kronos did provide some translations, but Shin, he actually revealed during the interview that Rogue had no practice on the patch at all. He maybe played 2 ladder games, and Rogue, the only practice or the only experience that he was, like, he didn't even know any of the changes of the patch. The only thing he knew was through Shin's YouTube channel. So if you recall, we even commented on it at the time. We were like, are they just promoting Shin's YouTube? Rogue, he watched some of Shin's videos, and that's all he knew coming into it is Shin's YouTube channel. So afterwards, everyone was like poking fun and memeing a little bit, promoting Shin's channel. How, like, if you just watch his videos, then bam, you just 13-0, pappy, crazy. And yeah. So Rogue, and the fun fact, so Rogue had no experience. He only watched Shin's videos, and the reason why Shin fielded Rogue first, remember Shin was the team captain. The reason why he fielded Rogue first is because he wanted Rogue to get some experience before next week, before day 2 of the tournament. So they didn't really expect him to do much. And quoting Shin, he said that he saw that Rogue only won with his fundamentals, and the moment that I saw that happen, I was like, "Oh, we're fucked." like it was like Shin himself was very disgusted with the result here during that interview. When he had that revelation, like Bjorn was freaking out, Hero was freaking out. They were like, "What? No shot!" Like they were all in awe, and they're all in dismay once they found out that Rogue didn't know what he was doing. It was just standard play. It was just standard like fundamentals out of Rogue, and he tore through the entire Korean scene. It was crazy. It was pretty insane. They also spoke about it. Hero had some choice words. Hero, he didn't, obviously, because he didn't want to speak on balance too much, but he said that right now it just isn't fun playing the game. That's what he said. He said he didn't want to focus on like any kind of balance discussion for himself. Like, he just wanted to say that right now it's just not enjoyable playing StarCraft. It's not enjoyable playing this kind of meta. And from his experience speaking to other Terran and Protoss players and even Zerg players alike, like no one's really enjoying it. So really much of an enjoyable experience. Rogue, he had some fun. He said that, like, oh, this must be what Cyril feels like. It was like, this is insane. Like, this is crazy. Like, he was also in shock as to, like, he was joking about that. He even said, like, he's like, I'm just playing standard. I'm just winning games. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, I don't know, baby. I don't know. It was also just chuckling to himself during those games. Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. During the interview as well, I want to say that Inu, he was like, yeah, like Terrans, I can't win either right now. Like only Clem can win, and shit was like, not even Clem's losing, which is true. Like Clem's also been struggling. I guess we'll get into it during the Open Cups against Korean Zurich players as well. But yeah, this was this, I will say, because of this format, it made a really strong statement, which I think is a good thing. If we want to like hammer down and hammer home that right now the game is not in a healthy place, like an event like this, more so than like a standard format, like this, this went huge, like on socials, for example, like for good reason. Like this is like a really like strong example of that, because like you could not send anyone better against Rogue amongst the Koreans. I mean, like they sent out Maru, Classic, Hero, Cure. Like you don't, like who else? Like no one. Like it was it was, so it was a really strong display here from Zerg. And yeah, I think everyone is expecting for a patch for a hotfix to occur. It's just about when, and it's also about what is going to be introduced in the hotfix as well. It's one of those things where, and I guess we'll be discussing this a little bit further once we get into HomeStory Cup and some of the other events. But I think the big concern that I have is that it personally, it feels like we've wasted a bunch of time. Like it feels too late to, like, I know there are some people that have some hopium a little bit, or copium, where they're hoping that that for the next like set of patches or set of like hotfixes, the Blizzard start to like course correct and they start to like buff certain things or change things in a different way. But like, what are we, like 6 weeks in? Like 6 weeks into like PTR plus like live hotfixing as well. Like it feels like we already spent a bunch of time trying to make the low worker count work, trying to make the gateway change work, and trying to like fix and finick and adjust this and try to like make this like actually viable. And we've spent so much time on this that I don't think we have the time to spend on anything greater than that. To be fair, that's also why I was surprised by the force field change, if you remember in the last hotfix, because that did feel a little bit more substantial, which caught me off guard, to be fair. But I can't imagine we're going to be seeing too much more of that. And I say we're running out of time just because, I mean, again, one, BlizzCon is around the corner, and we gotta get this like clean and good to go for BlizzCon. But also, from our understanding, and it's more of a layman's understanding, is that the Classics team, they're not dedicated to StarCraft, right? Like they only have a limited window of time where they can work on StarCraft before they got to move on and work on another game, right? Like there is no dedicated team for StarCraft anymore. So like we can't take up too much of their time as a reality. Like they've got like a certain period of time where they can allocate to StarCraft, then they got to move on. So we've spent a bunch of that time already on what we currently have, and it feels pretty wasteful at this point. Or it feels like we've just kind of like wasted a bunch of time on something that just is not working. It's so we'll see what happens. I feel like at this point it's like a sunk cost fallacy where I don't think Blizzard are going to revert anymore. Like I think it's too late. Like they've devoted so much time and so much resources and so much effort kind of getting us to this point. It's like I don't see them reverting. I know a lot of people want that to revert some of these changes, but I also think it's too late for that. Or at least I can see them rationalizing the fact that they've spent so much time on the worker change and on the larva changes and again trying to make it all work, that that they'd be unwilling to revert that and to go back to how things were. So time will tell. Time will tell in regards to the state of StarCraft. But right now it's not good. This is what I will say. It's not good, Babby. Not good. See in chats, were the 2-0s the same strat from Rogue? No, as in obviously not just because they're different matchups, but he wasn't going for anything quirky or crazy. Like again, Shin said it was just his fundamentals. I would agree with that. It was just standard play, right? Like as in some games he would go like maybe he'd play Mutas, or some games he'd just go Lingbane Hydra, or some games he'd play Roach. But like there were no like all-ins or crisp timing attacks or anything too crazy. It was just, yeah, it was pretty standard play. If you missed it, I do recommend the VODs. Again, we did cover this live, of course, and you can check it out over on our YouTube channel. It is now on YouTube. Can check it out.
Well,
and of course,
actually,
this is the 2-day events.
It is on the Sub YouTube channel.
It's on both.
True. It's on both. Channel. It's on our channel, but specifically in the live tab. So make sure to check out the live tab.
Yeah. So you can check it out on YouTube. It's on our channels, on the Soup channel as well. Again, there's a two-day event. On the 13th of July will be day number 2 of this event. It is going to be Protoss versus Terran, leading into Zerg in the grand finals as well. And we'll see if we do actually get a hotfix by then or not. We'll see. But again, it was a fun event regardless. I always appreciate that GSL, CK, they're willing to mess with the format and bring something unique to the table. And when it comes to showcasing some issues in StarCraft right now, I think this achieved that, to be honest. When it comes to like a hyperfixating and focusing on a perceived issue like this was the event to do it on. So GG. Congratulations to Rogue and to Zerg as well. Bearing in mind, again, that was a team league event, by the way. As in, Shin and Solar and Armani didn't get to play at all. Like they were just sitting on the back line, just sitting on the bench, just watching Rogue just tear everyone apart. They're like, oh, I guess we don't even need to play. Okay, fair enough. That leads us into HomeStory Cup. HomeStory Cup at number 19. Number 19 was this past weekend. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch any of it. And we are going to be covering it. Sorry, 29. But yeah, unfortunately I wasn't able to watch any of it. So if you have anything, if anything of note did occur during the group stage, especially, do let us know. We'll be covering the playoff brackets this week, later on tomorrow actually. Tomorrow this time we should be live with the playoff bracket. But we felt like an event like this was big enough for us to cover here and now instead of next week. Up first, we have Group A. If you remember, we did have predictions for these groups as well. If you recall, my prediction was that Raider and Gabe were the 2 favorites, but Cristiano could cause an upset, and it looks like he did. So Raider coming out in first place did actually drop a series, it looks like. Let me just double check here. Shino? Yo, Shino, let's go 2-1 over Rainer. Crazy, man, crazy. I can see the 10 pulls already from here. I can see him. But Shino takes down Rainer in the ZVZ. Very impressive result there by Shino. But Raiden comes out in first place. Meanwhile, Cristiano, who did he bring down? He fell to Rainer and he 2-0'd Big Gabe. A big win there for Cristiano, coming out in second place. I know he's been having some really good results, of course. Jumi and Shino in 4th and 5th respectively. Holy hit in last place of Group A. Coming into Group B, I would have said that Clem and ShaDoWn were favored here, and they would be favored, but a laser comes out in second place. Very, very surprising, very strong result there from a laser, and ShaDoWn struggling that much more. Looking at these results here again, Clem, he did claim all of his games. He did drop a map to a laser. There you go. So a laser, he did take a map off of Clem. The only players to do so in the group stage. Meanwhile, ShaDoWn, he went down to Arrowfire, and he also went down to a laser as well. The Arrowfire series doesn't really surprise me. So something that I've been emphasizing as of late, and for those that maybe haven't been watching these games, maybe they're unaware, but every mirror matchup, ZVZ, PvP, and TVT as well, are much more aggressive than previously. They're all hyper aggressive, and all-ins are very common. So this result here, Arrowfire taking down ShaDoWn and Shino taking down Rainer, they're the same to me. In the sense that in ZVZ, now there are earlier pool timings, now it's more unforgiving, now aggression's more favored, all-ins are stronger. In PvP, it's the same thing with the gateway change because of the warp gate change, and because you can have fast warp-ins with regular vanilla pylons. It means that all-ins are harder to scout, and all-ins hit harder and faster as well. Because now you can have all your gateways back at home, you don't need a proxy gateway anymore, and one pylon is all you need to, bam, start to reinforce across the map and commit. So because of that, again, aggression and all-ins are stronger, both in PvP and in ZVZ as well. And that can cause more upsets, more variants like this. So I'm not too surprised to see Rainer and ShaDoWn struggle with the mirror matchup, because the mirror matchup right now is a lot more coin flippy. I'll say the same about TVT. Meanwhile, yeah, Lorimbo took a map off of a laser. Let's go. Took a map of him as well. And ShaDoWn coming in 4th place in Group B. Heading on over here to Group C. Let's have a look. Heading on over here, we do have Serral, Hearthstone, Geralt, Euthermal, Vaeda, and Solicitous. My assumption coming into this was it was going to be Serral and Geralt, but no, Hearthstone coming out in second place. Let's go. Un momento. As Serral, he didn't drop a single map, didn't drop a single series. Hearthstone looking very good here. Did drop a map to Solicitous, did drop a map to Geralt as well, did drop a map to Thermal. So Hearthstone, he had to work for it, had to work hard for it, but he did advance on in second place. Geralt, he took down Thermal, fell to Hearthstone, took down Solicitous, fell to Serral, fell and did beat Vaeda as well. So Geralt in third place, followed by Thermal, Vaeda, and Solicitous as well. Celsius, there we go.
I was gonna say, every time it's Celsius. But fun fact, people at HomeStory Cup also pronounced it in all sorts of ways. So it's just a common thing.
So coming into Group D, we did have Lambo, Skillus, Mixu, Baby Marine, Fiant, and Lilix. Yeah, this was a little more one-sided here. In the sense that I think during our predictions, it was like, Lambo, there's a little more of a skill disparity between Lambo and Skillus and the other players. Here we did see a bit of a back and forth. So Lambo, he lost to Skillus, and Skillus lost to Fiant. Oh, okay. But in the end, they both came through in first and second place respectively. Coming into the main event, we did have our upper bracket quarterfinals. Rainer takes down Laser 3-0. Serral takes down Skillus 3-0. Clem takes down Christiana, and Lambo takes down Hearthstone. Some very one-sided series initially in the quarterfinals. We saw something similar in the semis. Rainer takes down Serral 3-0. Clem takes down Lambo 3-0 as well. Impressive result there by Clem. Clem takes out Rainer 3-2. Again, I'm curious to see these games themselves to get a little bit more context. In my mind, Rainer was hyper-aggressive versus Serral. In my mind, Clem was hyper-aggressive versus Lambo and Rainer. Based on the games that I've been casting over the past 2 weeks from Clem, we've been seeing a lot of all-ins. A lot of hyper-aggression out of Clem. Serral takes down Lambo 3-1. Serral gets his revenge over Rainer 3-1, and Serral claims a 6-0 victory over Clem in the grand finals. GG, well played. As I mentioned before, I'm curious if Clem against Lambo and Rainer was just hyper aggressive and hyper all in, and that kind of like telegraphed his play, and we just saw Serral play hyper safe against him in the finals. I would imagine in my mind like that's probably what happens, but we'll see. We'll eventually be covering these over the next 2 days. Maybe even 3 days actually, because that's a lot of StarCraft. We'll figure it out. But with that, GG well played. Congratulations to Serral for claiming the tournament. Once again, I didn't get to see any of these games yet. I will be able to throughout the course of the week, and I might have something greater and more profound to say for the next podcast or during the event itself. Yeah, like this kind of lines up with kind of what we've been seeing as of late. Once again, I'm curious to see how Clem did approach Lambo and Rainer based on our experiences with Clem. Again, we casted Clem this morning in TVZ, and he was just hyper aggressive, hyper all in. And also did struggle to make it work as well. So curious if that trend also occurred here in those matches. I'm curious. When it comes to some of the upsets again, Showtime, he just struggled in his group where otherwise we expect him not to. I would say that is probably also patch focus and patch centric as well. But GG, congratulations here to Serral. And again, at the end of the event, I believe HomeStory Cup number 30 was announced. I don't know if we have anything related to that, but it was announced to be a big event. Won't quite be at the Summer Island Paradise that we saw in number 20, but number 30 is going to be at a ski resort. I believe you can already book book tickets.
You can already book tickets from HomeStory Cup 30, and it's gonna be at the ski hall, which is an indoor ski resort of sorts. But apparently it also has a bunch of other attractions around as well, so it's not just for skiing. So if anybody is interested to just going there for a vacation, then you are free to do so.
Yeah, it is I believe the biggest indoor ski resort in Germany, if I recall correctly. I was just like skimming through like their kind of their summary of the venue and of the event. So really cool to be honest. It is the polar opposite of the Island Paradise, by the way. It's you go from tropical island to ski resort. So polar opposite, which I'm not opposed to, of course. And it definitely has a lot to live up to. Something that caught me off guard, actually, is that Mike Morheim is going to be there. That caught me off guard. But he
was on the 20th, so
yeah, he was. I would push back against that. Like he was at the 20th, but he's been very silent and, of course, a lot more disconnected from StarCraft as of late, which is why I want to emphasize that it is surprising to see him there, and I would say it's really cool that he's going to be there as well, just because that reconfirms the ties that he has with the StarCraft community, despite the fact that he's been away from StarCraft for so long. And I want to say there was someone else that was announced as well, but I obviously I specifically do remember Mike and Amy, but there might be some others that were also confirmed. Meanwhile, big shout out to Luis CGG. Luis, thank you so much for the raid. I hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. Hope you had a great time. And welcome to the PondCast, our weekly wrap-up talk show. We were just wrapping up with HomeStory Cup, and again did end with the announcement of HomeStory Cup number 30. It's going to be next year, April, I believe, early April next year. So if you happen to be in Europe or traveling to Europe at the time, then do consider going, especially because obviously these 10-year, these like I said 10-year, like 10 events, 10 event HomeStory Cups, like they're typically very big, very momentous as well. And I don't want to be too doomer about it, but like I don't know if it's too certain that there's going to be like a HomeStory Cup 40, or I don't know if I would say that, but more that the likelihood of an event 40 or an event 50 kind of being as big, like I don't know how likely that'll be. So I don't know. I feel like if you're big about StarCraft, if you're passionate about StarCraft, it will be worth going to HomeStory Cup number 30 for sure. Like it's going to be a big event, a big momentous tournament, and especially in an era post EPT and post EWC, in an era of StarCraft where we have a lot of uncertainty. Like I would say that there's more emphasis to go to this event, more so than in the past for HomeStory Cup. So if you happen to be like considering and maybe like on the fence about going, on the fence about traveling, maybe you've never been to a HomeStory Cup before, but again you're passionate about StarCraft, like I would say that it's worth considering going to HomeStory Cup 30, for sure.
Also a quick note, because that was also mentioned on stream, you do not have to have your own skiing equipment. You can actually rent it on the spot there. Also fun fact, because of people flying
across like across the world with
people do that. People do that.
Cabin. Yeah.
But I mean if you're already into skiing, you may take your own equipment, but I'm just saying that if you just want to try and you've never, or maybe you like never skied in your life, you can do that. Like they have the equipment there. They have like a place for like learners as well, so people can literally just learn there. And also, because of this trailer being a thing, we learned that apparently Lambo and Raynor are pretty good at this.
Let's go. The skiing competition, I mean, it's ripe for content. It's ripe for content when it comes to what they can do, like snowboarding competition, skiing competition. Let's go. They're gonna get rowdy, Pap. They're gonna get rowdy. I don't know if HomeStory Cup and skiing is gonna mesh too well when it comes to the amount of drinking.
Yeah, I was gonna say it sure is gonna be a thing after all these people, you know, after the entire HomeStory Cup, they're gonna go skiing together.
Yeah.
That will turn out well.
It'll be amazing. Beautiful. So something to look forward to. Meanwhile, I mean, you know what I would want to see actually? Again, like I don't know how extravagant they want to be. Like, you get Dennis with like a GoPro with a live stream and get him to ski down the slopes, and we can be there. We can see him do it.
See, this would be a thing, but there are two problems with that. Problem number one, he cannot ski for anything. He just can't.
That makes it better.
He's like they showed him, like he put the skis on and he fell over. That was the skill. And secondly, he said that he used to ski and his version of ski was just going straight downhill at full speed. And like he himself said that he's dangerous. He's the one who like gets people in trouble, like on the skiing slope.
Yeah. So what you're saying is that there's even more reason to do that. So again,
he put a GoPro on him and everybody just runs away as he's like going down the hill. Yeah. Okay.
That's content. Sure. Swim straight up. Yeah. So look forward to it again. It's gonna be next year. April has been confirmed. Lock it in to your calendars for the next HomeStory Cup. Up next, we have the Crank Gatherers.
A quick note, because that was posted literally just a few hours ago. There are photos available from this HomeStory Cup as well, if you are interested, because Stegosaurus was there, and there is an entire album already out.
There you go. The album is out. Up next, we do have our modded tournaments. StarCraft Evolution here with CranKy Season 4 qualifiers. Again, we were fortunate enough to cover this event ourselves over on our channel, and with this there was a lot going on here. So best of 7 team league formats. Up first we have our teams themselves. I think we already went over all the teams last time, but may as well just go through it again. We have team CRHB with Classic, Hero, Shin, and Solar. Yeah, I think we already went over. No, I might have just gone over this on previously. Okay, so a heavy hitting team here with double Protoss, double Zerg with Classic, Hero, Shin, and Solar, the best Protoss and Zerg players in all of South Korea. So big team. Meanwhile, we have team X Jinair plus Percival, which is team if we lose, it's Crank's fault, with Creator, Percival, Rogue, SOS, and Trap. Again, it's kind of weird seeing Percival in there because he's the old one out, but regardless, really cool to see. We have team Old Men with Cyan, Jeshi, and Kingslayer. We have Point Me Mono with Home Mono, Prome, 3 points. We have Proxy Gate with Ailsop, Kneehead, and Rake. We have Stowny Bulls with Gigi Machine, Milky Cow, Shameless, Young Yakov, and Zardians. We have Team Red, White, and Blue with Blask, Goblin, with Thermal, and Vaeda. And with Team UED with Control, Mang Russell, Quanta, and the STC. We didn't actually go over this last week, I recall. But yeah, we do have our teams here that were competing in the qualifiers, and the qualifiers did take place again a couple of days ago. Now, up first, we did have a team Red, White, and Blue. Let's go. The Freedom team up against Old Man, and Goblin, he almost all killed. He had a very impressive showing. Goblin takes down Kingslayer, takes down Jeshi, takes down Cyan, and does eventually fall to Cyan in the revive. So the way the format works, best of 7, you have 3 players fielded, and you can revive. I say you can revive because technically you could have a bit larger roster, and instead of reviving, you can field another player instead. So you have the option to revive, or you can field a 4th player once you get up to that 4th match. And again, it is all kill format, as you can see here. So winner stays on, loser is eliminated. Goblin, he went on a tear, and I would say that Goblin versus Cyan on match point was the best game of the event, and maybe of the year for StarCraft Evolution. Like, that was insane. It was really good StarCraft. A solid back and forth aggression, getting into mid game, getting to late game as well. A lot of chaos, and we've had some really good games on match point. Really good games. It was this one, also the next series as well. The games of the event, and arguably of the year. So I do highly recommend it. If you enjoy StarCraft Evolution, if you enjoy PvP, Goblin vs. Cyan was insane. Coming up next, we then had Cyan. He takes down Vaeda, and then we had Uber Thermal Clean House takes down Cyan, and in the end, Team Red, White, and Blue, they do claim the win over Team Old Men. Again, Red, White, and Blue is, of course, the colors of Croatia and the Netherlands. True. Together as one. With that, Old Men are out of the tournament. We then had Stowny Bulls up against Proxy Gate. Here we did have a CIS back and forth with Ailsop popping off. He takes down Milky Cow 1-0, takes on Zardian 1-0, and then Gigi Machine claims the all kill from there. Gigi Machine takes down Ailsop, takes down Kneehead, takes down Rake, and takes down Ailsop in the revive match. Gigi Machine all kills Proxy Gate. GG. Non-stop Zerg winners in that series, by the way. But GG well played, and GG Machine does claim the win. That leads us into, if we lose, it's Crank's fault versus Point Me Mono. Here we had a bit of a back and forth. We had a Trap. Trap takes down 3 point initially on Fighting Spirit. We then had Home Mono taking down Trap, so we had that back and forth. And then Creator, he kind of all kills. He takes down Home Mono, Prome, and 3 points. Didn't win the first match, but did technically defeat all the players on Point Me Mono. GG well played, strong showing there by Creator. We then had team CRHB versus UED. Here we did have a proper all kill as Hero, he 4-0s UED. Hero takes out Mang Russell, Control, the STC, and Quanta. Very impressive play here. Again, Hero, he's less versed in StarCraft Evolution than any other player on his team. Less versed than Classic, less versed than Shin and Solar. So it was a little bit up in the air with how he would play. You could tell he was freestyling. He was kind of like testing what would work, what wouldn't work. And he just went to town on Team UAD. It was crazy. So GG well played. Congratulations. Strong showing there by Hero, as he does 4-0. With that leads us into the main event, leads us into the main event here, as now we have our confirmed teams. It is going to be Basilisk with Raynor, Serral, and Trigger. We have Onside with Christiana, Maru, Rex, Ryung, and Xian. We have Shopify with Björn, Harstem, Lambo, and Scarlet. And we have Team Liquid with Clem, Cure, Elaser, and Skillis. We have 4 invited big teams up against the 4 qualified teams that we just covered, of course. So we do have our 8 teams in total. We're going to be going through the group stage over the next week, leading into the playoffs thereafter. So a lot of content, a lot of StarCraft is on the horizon here. It is going to be, I believe, round robin group stage, so a lot of matches. A lot of matches are going to be taking place. I believe 6 series in total. Yep, 6 series in total in each group. So do look forward to that. And again, we'll be covering it on our own channel via replays. If you wanted to cover it live, it would be on Chijik. Remember, this is an event sponsored by Chijik. That is a Korean streaming platform. It is a competitor to Soup, and it is of course covered live by Crank in in Korean. We've casted live on Chijik before, but again, it's hard to get viewership there from an international audience, so we did decide just cover it via replays instead. Going to be covering it via replays. When it comes to the groups themselves, it's hard to really confirm who's favored here, just because it is StarCraft Evolution. I would say that Shopify have a really strong chance to make it through. Shopify, they're one of the stronger teams because they have Björn and Lambo, and even Scarlet has some experience with StarCraft Evolution as well. So there's going to be a lot of potential there. Likewise, I would look to Team Liquid. When I look at Team Liquid, it's similar to Shopify, where Shopify, their ace players are going to be Björn and Lambo. For Team Liquid, it is going to be Cure and Skillis as the ace players. Now, when I say ace player, I mean that these are players that have a lot of experience in StarCraft Evolution, more so than the others. Of course, you can rely on Clem and Elaser for regular SE2 matches, true as well, so they not like they can't hold their own or carry their own weight, but they do have a couple of specialists on their team as well, which does help bolster them. I'm curious to see how Basilisk does perform, because again, Serral is the best player in the world in StarCraft 2, but how will he compare to the others in StarCraft Evolution? We'll see. We shall see. It's going to be a fun event, again, taking place over the next couple of days, and we'll be there as well. And we will be there. Do check it out. Up next, we have the SEL Season 3 Ladder Invitational. We did go over this. We did touch on this previously, how this event did take place recently, and might have impacted some of the decisions made in the most recent PTR changes or balance patch changes. You had Classic. Classic takes on Rumia 3-1 in the quarterfinals of the best of 5. Beyond takes on Deathmars 3-1. Cura takes on Shin 3-1, and Sola takes on MaxPax 3-1 as well. No major surprises here. I would say the one series that I would have loved to have seen, and we're going to be covering all this anyway, is Shin versus Cure. Shin versus Cure, in my mind, would have been a very close back and forth, but Cure has a dominant showing there. I did mention that Cure, again, he's one of the StarCraft Evolution specialists on Team Liquid for his team, and you can see it here as well, where he's excelling. And not an easy opponent, though. Up next, we have Classic versus Beyond and Cure versus Solar. Some very big, very intense matchups in the semifinals. Look forward to it. Do look forward to it. They're going to be best of 5s, leading into eventually best of 7s in the grand finals. Let's go. And again, we'll get around to covering all these matches at a later date. We'll get around to it. Up next, we have the Galaxy Open Cup 5.0.15 edition number 1. Looks like Choi Galaxy did run a tournament on a mod featuring the previous version of the game. And Choi Galaxy, of course, he's a Korean player. I say player, I guess organizer as well. He's hosted a couple of show matches in the past, the Galaxy Opens or the Galaxy show matches. And yeah, this was an interesting event here. Again, not the biggest event, but a lot of Korean semi-pros and active players. There's 3 Point, Rebellion, Off Racing, Ateshi Off Racing, Ateshi Off Racing, Silver BV, Inner Color. It's been a while. Haven't seen Inner Color in quite some time. We have Honmono, we have Prome. In the end, it was 3 Point versus Honmono in the grand finals, and 3 Point takes down Honmono 3-0. GG, well played. It is a bit of a shame that the prize pool was decent, $100 prize pool, $105 prize pool, with $5 going to a random play. Oh, yo, he's inspired. He's inspired by us. So a solid prize pool here for the tournament, but it looks like maybe Troy Galaxy doesn't have the biggest reach to reach a couple of other players. I also know that there are definitely some players that are really adverse to playing on this mod because you can't really practice on it, right? The ladder is currently full of, or is showcasing the new patch. So everyone's playing on the ladder. That's how you get a lot of your practice. Long gone are the days of purely custom games. People still do custom games for big events, but they're fewer and farther between. A lot of players fix it and focus on ladder practice instead nowadays. So it's harder to practice for something like this as a result of that. That's why they were so opposed, or one of the reasons why they were opposed to playing on a mod for HomeStory Cup. But GG well played with that. Congratulations. 3-point does claim the win. Up next, we do have our amateur events. Up first is going to be the Amateur League Weekly Tournament number 165. Again, this is a weekly tournament for up-and-coming amateur players. Up first is going to be our Bronze to Platinum Initiate Weekly. Here we only had 2 players. We had Shular. Shular takes down Jackals 3-1 to win the event. GG well played. That leads us into the Veteran Weekly for Diamond 3 to Diamond 2, double elimination bracket. We had more signups here with some regulars. We had Sugarcoat the 2nd, we had the Old Lady, we had Pretty Fly, Balimko as well, Lucid Shadow, so a lot of regulars here. In the end, we did see that Clefutos takes down Pretty Fly 2-1, and then actually does fall in the... No, and makes it to the grand finals, does fall to Balimko in those finals. GG well played. It's been a while since I've seen Balimko be an active player, so great to see him back, great to see him return. Up next, we did have the Prestige Weekly. For Diamond 1 to Masters 2. Here, a bit of a smaller bracket, surprisingly so, but it's possible that, again, this was during the HomeStory Cup weekend, so... because of that, I would imagine that everyone was engrossed in HomeStory Cup, so less signups, less competitors. Here we had Boreal, Zigger, Ilya, Nox, and Defiance. A lot of regulars, but again, a smaller bracket overall. In the end, Boreal, he does fall to Zigger initially, but does bring it back in the ace match or in the grand finals, 3-2, going all the way to the ace match. Does get his revenge over Zigger. GG well played. And then that leads us into the GM edition, as Steez gets a walkover win in the GM edition. GG well played. In general, lower signups this week, but this was also clashing with HomeStory Cup. So again, I'm sure a lot of people were either traveling or just watching HomeStory Cup instead. Was at a bit of a less than ideal time. Up next, we had the Little Mac StarCraft 2 League Season 15 group stage. Okay, this is, I believe, for Masters 2 and below. Okay, so Masters 2 and below. The group stage did conclude. When it comes to the group stage itself here, we do see, we can just go over it. Group A, Papito. Neo and Sugarcoat the 2nd. How did Papito not make it through? Forfeits. Okay. So Papito's a really good player. He's a really good player. He is much higher rated than anyone in that group. Like, he is favored, 100%. To the point where maybe he was disqualified. Yeah, okay. I just realized this event is for Masters and below, Masters 2 and below. Papito, I'm pretty sure it's M1. So now I understand. Yeah, that's how I was confused. So did forfeit in the end, maybe disqualified due to his ranking, and with that we have Neo and Sugarcoat the 2nd coming out in 1st and 2nd place. They did make it through. Likewise, we had Steez and Haroku, likewise coming out in 1st and 2nd place as well over Exiled and Nox. That is surprising to me here. We did have some other forfeits, but I rate Exiled quite highly. So to fall to Steez and to fall to Haroku, that is surprising to me. GG well played. Exiled does go down. Up next, we had Captain Britain and Wise Man. They take down Storm and Defiance in Group C. Group D, we had Countess winning the events, but does not make it through. Once again, it is possible that Countess, likewise, is higher ranked, as Sigas and Fletch to advance on in their stead. Up next, we had Group E, we had Havertz and Zigger. They advance on over Boreal and Medic Jr. Group F, we had Mag and Roselia taking down Cosmos and Xenodactyl. Then had Chocolate and Mantega. They take down Milka and Mac, and then Beast and Anticore over DC Dwarf and Set. I was going to say that Anticore should not be here, but he off-raced. Yeah, you can see here he played Protoss, so it looks like off-racing is allowed. Anticore is a very good Zerg player, but here he does play as Protoss. Okay. So a little bit of a messy group stage, but regardless, we do make it through. A couple of forfeits here and there, but again, I feel like part of that is probably just because of the MR limits and limitation for the event itself. In the end, we have our top players. Now, coming into this, if I look at the players themselves, who do we favor? I'm unfamiliar with Mag. I don't know who that is. I've never seen them before, despite the fact that they have a Wikipedia page. So looking at this, I want to say, maybe I want to lean towards like Havertz, for example. Beast, of course, is a really good player as well. Captain Britain, he can be a beast. True. He can be an animal. Mag, Bing Bong Exports. Okay, interesting. I'm unfamiliar with Mag. Unfamiliar. Apparently was on Alpha X a couple of years ago as well. Interesting. It's hard to call. It's hard to call exactly. I mean, we'll get a better idea once we get into the next stage of groups. So best of luck. Best of luck to all the players. And again, a shout out to Little Mac for hosting this event for the amateur scene. Big shout out. Big shout out. That leads us into the World University Team League Division 1. Has it concluded? Not quite, but the semifinals did conclude. East China UST takes on Harvard 4-1, and Beijing IT takes on South Alberta 4-0. So we have our grand finals. It's going to be East China versus Beijing, and third place match will be Harvard versus South Alberta. Now, again, we did predict that China would come out on top coming into the finals. Again, one of the reasons for this, if you look at the teams themselves, they got some big names. I do lean to I think I lean towards East China. I think I lean towards East China UST. Jolo allows and Miggy over Rewrites and TAT. No, wait, that's Millennium Fox. They have Millennium Fox as well. I gotta go for Beijing. I'm gonna go for Beijing here for the grand finals. Like Millennium and TATP are very strong players right now, so I have to lean towards them. I've fallen off of Rewhite. Rewhite, he has been less active, and it shows. So Rewhite is going to be the weak link for that team, but TATP Millennium Fox, they're very much so in form. They're very strong players, and I would say they're going to be favored over Jolowa and Miki. But best of luck. Best of luck. When it comes to Harvard versus South Alberta, un momento. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be leaning towards Jiangpan and Qingming. But Green Earn Patches, they can be very cheeky in their own way, especially in the 2v2s. So best of luck. Best of luck to all the teams getting involved. As 2v2 and Archon mode is also a part of this as well. So best of luck in the University Team League. Up next, we have the StarCraft 2 Community Team League.
Hold on. Before that, Division 2nd and 3rd have also concluded now. So you can also take a quick look at that.
Okay, do I recognize any? Hold on. So we also had Division 2 wrapping up. With this, we had Michigan. Michigan, they take down Washington. Washington Purple. Okay. Take down Washington Purple. They take down RIT White. And they take down IUC in the grand finals. Again, not players I'm too familiar with here, but congratulations here to Michigan for claiming the event. That is Fish, Sparkle Hands, and 2-5 Boy for winning the event in the grand finals. I don't know how these divisions were constructed in regards to MMR, but regardless, GG, well played. That leads us into Division 3. Division 3 concluding, we did have a bit of a smaller bracket here. Single elimination. We had RIT Black versus Washington Gold. Okay. Do you want to double check some of these teams? Yeah, so it did claim the series. Here we had Cybertron, Dawnseeker, and Chroma for RIT Black, claiming the win as well. GG, well played. Congratulations here to RIT Black for claiming that win in Division 3. That leads us into the StarCraft 2 Community Team League 2026 Spring regular season, week number 14. Round 14. We are finally wrapping up the group stage. We're almost there. 1 week left. And even then, actually, there was a forfeit in the next round. But up first, we had Astartes. Astartes, they take down Little Fairy 4-2. That's a big win for Astartes, by the way. GG, well played. They do claim the win over Little Fairy. Old Man, they take down Super Kitty 4-2. The Old Man, they still got it. As Silky was not able to carry. Silky went 1-1 versus Kingslayer. Jeshi, he went 1-1 versus Kike. And then we had Kofi. He 2-0'd his opponent as well in that first round. So GG, well played. That's Old Man. Kauda, they take down Rookie Warpgate 4-2. They take him down 4-2. We had Starlight Twinkle take down Super Puppy 5-1. Ooh, Young Zest dropping a map. That's a little bit surprising. Shouldn't have quite happened, but they do bring him down. Toy Project, they do get the walkover win over Elpis 3. Looks like Elpis 3, they did actually forfeit the entire event. I don't know as to the rationale for that. I don't know what exactly occurred.
A note under the group stage.
Yeah, I was about to say that there is a note here that looks like there was someone who was unfortunately caught cheating for Team Elpis 3. They're using mouse macros during the matches, so it was found to have been cheating. So as a result, they are disqualified from the event. I'm trying to see if there's a player that I'm familiar with. Oh, that's Yan Pan. Oh, that sells the University Team League a little bit, but he's actually playing in the University Team League. Yan Pan, he's playing in the bronze match, if you recall. So that is a shame. But alas, he was using macro. For those that are curious, macro mouses, you can basically you can assign macros to your mouse, so you can you can assign complex macros as well to certain buttons on your mouse, so then you can press them to more easily actually do things. Macro mouses are not allowed when it comes to competitive play. When it comes to offline tournaments, things of that nature either, I believe. When it comes to programmed mice. So looks like he was found using that as well. You can get very creative with what you want to macro onto your mouse, doing stuff like that. So in the end was disqualified. Getting into the matches themselves, we did have Protosebest. Protosebest did take down Leor 5-1. Did take him down 5-1 here. Big win for Protosebest. We had Elpis Team League, the main division. They take down Team Hist 4-3. A back and forth there between the two teams. Miki did take down Isengard. Let's go. Takes down Isengard 2-0. Restart went down to number, and then Amichiaki takes down ND, or they actually tie 1-1, and then SCV takes down ND in the grand finals. GG, well played. Then we had PCEC 6-0 over Fairy Thug. Oh, sorry, GG, well played. With that, there's 1 week left when it comes to the main event, when it comes to the group stage. Looking at these series, let's see what actually matters here, because for the most part, standings have been confirmed. Elpis Team League, PCEC, Super Kitty, Old Man, Toad Project, Starlight Twinkle, and Little Fairy, they are confirmed to make it in. Hist, Kauda, Rookie Warpgate, Protosebest, Leor, and Fairy Thug are confirmed out. And right now we have Super Puppy and Astartes fighting for that final spot. They're currently tied up when it comes to their scores and scores. So Astartes versus Leor, Super Puppy versus Little Fairy. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be some rough matches. I'm going to be favoring Astartes. They have a higher chance at bringing down Leor. Super Puppy have a lower chance at beating Little Fairy, but wishing the best. Wishing the best. Little Fairy have been underperforming as of late, so there's definitely a chance for an upset there. If they both win their matches, then it might come down to, of course, map score and overall points, which would actually go in favor of Super Puppy, by the way. So, yeah, they have a chance to make it through. The puppies have a chance. Best of luck. Best of luck in that final week of group stage. Up next, we do have regional events and show matches. Again, this week there was no Bastards Big Brain Bouts as players and casters were traveling for HomeStory Cup. So here we had Malecos. They had the Replay League Season 15 Division 3. Oh, there's a non-German player there. Okay. Beast snuck his way in. So Beast is going to be favored. We do see Aracool, Dystopia, Mac, Parubi, and Stalbolzen. In the end, Beast does claim the win here at 5-0. Doesn't drop a single series. Again, he's a notable, I wouldn't say semi, a notable Masters player. So Beast has his way with the players here. Don't know why he was a part of the event, just because I feel like historically it's been purely German players. But I think we've seen with Beast before that he actually has dual citizenship, if I recall correctly.
I don't know about that. I think I may be wrong, but I want to say that I think the Malecos League isn't just for Germany specifically, but German-speaking countries kind of thing. They have a specific name for the region, because I think they include Switzerland as well and a few countries.
Yeah, we'll see, because I'm looking at all the other divisions and there's no one else that's not from Germany there. So we'll see if it's German speaking, or if instead it is citizenship based. That might be another thing. Hard to say. But congratulations to Beast for claiming the win 5-0. Matt coming in second place, Aracool in third, and Dystopia in fourth as well. Up next, we have the StarCraft 2 Weekly Open Tournaments at 2026, Season 2, Number 3. This is a weekly massive Open Cup for the Chinese region. Massive prize pool as well, bigger than a lot of the Open Cups in the foreign scene, like the WTV Mondays or like Kung Fu Cups or Monday Night Weeklies. Comparable, if not greater at times than those events. Here we had Cyan. Cyan takes down Silky, takes down Moku, takes down Misaki as well, and we had a best of 3 finals between Cyan and Lemon. I'm also hoping that we did fix that last week where it did incorrectly show that Lemon was from China instead of Taiwan. But here, so Cyan takes down Lemon 2-0, does claim the win. Lemon had a strong showing himself, taking down Kingslayer, taking down Jeshi, and I believe that is Sarah Kerrigan. I believe that's Sarah Kerrigan in the quarterfinals. So Lemon obviously had a good showing, but again, surprising result out of Cyan to bring him down in those finals. Cyan with the comeback post Doyo Cup. He's been inspired to compete a little bit further, to play more. GG. GG all played. But again, big event for the Chinese region, for the Chinese scene. That leads us into the Legacy Weekly Japan. This is a weekly open tournament for the Japanese region. I'm ready for some Bob as Tapioca takes down Riven, takes down Crimson 2-0, takes down Hirakui, and takes down Vaishravanya 2-1 in the grand finals. We're back to what we do best. We do see Vaishravanya taking down Psyarch, taking down Jacko, and then going back and forth with Tapioca. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to the Boba. Congratulations. Claims another win. Up next, we have the OSC Elites. This I'm unfamiliar with. The OSC Elites SC2 Cup number 15. When was the last one of these? 1 a year. No, not even. The last one was in 2023. Okay. It's been a long time. So that's why I was very confused. I'm like, I've not seen this event before. So it's been 3 years. It's been years. I'm curious as to what prompted this, actually. Very curious. Big prize pool. Obviously, OSC events.
I think this may be because of HomeStory as well, question mark?
Maybe. It was on the HomeStory Cup weekend, to be fair, but yeah, interesting tournaments. Interesting events here for, again, the OC region. We did have some Europeans competing. I see Demi, Nightmare, Mini Zerg UA, Trigger was off racing. I mean, I say off racing. Trigger's been playing a lot of Terran as of late. He's been streaming a lot and has been taking it seriously as well, to the point where he takes down Jumi, takes down Geralt, and takes a map off of Nightmare. So Trigger, he's turning into Trigger with a capital T is what is what he's turning into here. So again, taking Terran more seriously as of late. Shameless, meanwhile, does take down Jimmy 2-0, takes down Nightmare 2-0, takes down Nightmare 3-0 in the grand finals. Congratulations to Shameless. As again, this event did take place during that HomeStory Cup weekend. Congratulations. As that leads us into the What is It Monday? What is It Monday number 94. This was this week's Open Cup. Here we did have our all PvP finals. Again, a lot of players were still traveling from HomeStory Cup for this event. That's why you can see it's very light on European players. I can see Cristiano. He was at HomeStory Cup. He's the only player. Oh, and Geralt as well. Yo, they're both grinders. Geralt and Cristiano, despite HomeStory Cup, they still played, but there's no Clem, there's no Max Packs. There's no Showtime, there's no Skillers, for example. Like a lot of the other European regulars are not here, as I'm sure they were resting, recovering, or traveling from HomeStory Cup. When it comes to the event itself, was this fixed up? It was. Okay, so Trap, he takes down Hero 2-0. That looks crazy, and that is impressive, but if you click into it, Hero did off-race. He did off-race as Zerg in Game 1, and then we spoke earlier in this broadcast about PvP and how chaotic it is. And Trap did take down Hero in game number 2. Again, PvP is much more aggressive than previously. Much more aggressive, much more all-in, much more chaotic. Nightmare takes down Beyond 2-1. That was an intense back and forth, which we did cover ourselves. And Nightmare takes down a Trap 2-0, goes up against Classic in the grand finals. Classic had his own strong showing, taking down Shin. If you were curious about that match, Skytos. Classic, he embraced Skytos quite heavily in that series and did take down Shin 2-0 before taking down Nightmare in the PvP 3-1. GG, well played. Congratulations to Classic, as he does claim the tournament, does claim Wardy TV Monday. That leads us into the Pixar Cup number 89. That was this morning, actually. That was earlier this morning. Here we had Solar. He takes down Trap. 2-0 takes down Clem. 3-1. I'm curious if Clem's play here reflects how he played against HomeStory Cup. I did mention that I believe that Clem would have been hyper aggressive, because here Clem was going for a bunch of 1-base all-ins, 2-base all-ins, and hyper aggressive play. And he was achieving a little bit of success with it, but otherwise he was struggling in Solar. It's one of those things where, I mean, they were very entertaining games, but it's one of those things where Clem is hyper aggressive, and the moment that he lets up, the moment that the game starts to slow down, like Solar just skyrockets ahead. Like when it comes to their macro, when it comes to their economy, when it comes to their growth, it just very, very quickly just snowballs in favor of the Zerg player the moment that the Terran player's aggression subsides, and we saw that occur in that series. Meanwhile, we had Hero versus Shin, and we saw Hero take down Shin 3-1. We didn't get to cover that series ourselves, but we did see the grand finals, Hero versus Solar. If you missed it, this series, we were alluding to it and making a lot of references. This was full 2021. Was full 2021. What does that mean? Hero, he was playing a lot of double Stargate Void Ray. A lot of Void Ray play. A lot of mass Void Ray, a lot of mass Sky Toss. Going back and reverting here to 2021. We saw that Solar was going for German taxis to try to stop him, and Solar had some mixed results. In the end, Hero's mass Void Ray style did defeat Solar 3 games. 3 games, Hero, he did shut him down. That is kind of what the meta has devolved into. Hero did try one game here to try to play standard, but standard play is not really viable at the moment in PvZ. And in TVZ as well. When I say standard play, I mean Stargate opener into Oracle into third, into +1 Blink, into Storm, into the mid game. If you try to go that kind of style, then the Zerg player will typically outgrow you quite quickly. They'll outscale you, and then they'll just shut you down. So Hero, he was mixing in some early charge builds, some early all-ins, and mixing in Sky Toss rushes, where he would just rush and try to skip tech, and rush into Mass Void Ray, and rush into Sky Toss. And there was success with that, but at a cost, of course, as it's not the most exciting and dynamic way to play. This is also where I remind you that Hero himself did say that specifically the current meta in PvZ, Hero's not enjoying himself. Like, it's not a fun way to play. When you think of Hero, you think of like hyper aggression, blink stalkers, you know, intensive micro all over the place, and just a lot of action going on. But Hero's being forced to play a much slower style instead, due to the meta and due to what's viable. So again, Hero's been vocal about that as well. So GG well played, does claim the series here over Solar, embracing the Sky Toss. That GG well played. And I believe that does wrap up all of our weekly tournaments. Once again, this week there is no Monday Night Weekly, and there's no Roddy Cup due to HomeStory Cup occurring. We still, I believe, have Kung Fu Cup this week, and most likely we'll be posting tournament results post Kung Fu Cup. That'll be, I think, tomorrow or the day after. So again, this podcast was a little bit earlier in the week, so there's not as many events to go through. It probably means that next week it's going to be a bigger topic list. Oh boy, it's going to be a lot to indulge. But regardless, GG well played. Congratulations to Hero for claiming the win here in the PixAR Cup. And when it comes to the current state of StarCraft as well, like, again, at least I'm fully confident that there is going to be like another hotfix patch. What is going to be in it? It's hard to say exactly. It's hard to say. I also already mentioned my thoughts about the idea of it's going to be difficult for Blizzard to kind of like swallow that pillow and swallow their pride and revert a bunch of changes. I don't think that's going to happen. I think at this point they're probably going to commit to the worker changes and to the gateway changes. I can see them adjusting and tweaking numbers for sure, but I don't see them pulling back on that necessarily. Unfortunately, I do think that's at least currently, I do think that's to the detriment of the game. I do think the game is in a poor state at the moment, but again, we'll see when that hotfix occurs and when changes arise and what happens to StarCraft. Again, I still feel quite confident that will happen. Whether it's this week or next week, time will tell. Time will tell. When it comes to these events, though, if you want to take part yourself, you can do so via the sign-up list. !! Sign-up list in the chats. You can check out all of the events. Here we have Kung Fu Cup. That's going to be coming up or is that right now? Is that?
It is right now, yes.
There we go. So we have Kung Fu Cup. We have Vespine Cup, number 1. Oh, who's hosting that? I've not seen that before.
If you remember Dev from back in the day, apparently he made an entire new website for hosting tournaments and like coaching and everything. Like it's a whole like separate service. So if you're interested in that, then I recommend actually reading the Twitter thread for the details.
Yeah, we can go into it, I guess, next time. I remember that he actually reached out for feedback on the site, and we did provide some of that. So yeah, it's a really interesting website. I would say it's very ambitious. It's a very ambitious website. It's got a lot of features. I'm gonna do wish the best to Def. Meanwhile, we have the Galaxy Cup on the horizon, SDO, the Patch Clash, Tuna Cup, and much more. So again, do check it all out. As it does, do check out all the events as they're available here via the sign up list. GG. Do check it out. Otherwise, we're going to be heading off. With that, we're going to be wrapping up here. Again, you can support us via Patreon, !Patreon in the chat. Patreon does support our tournaments on a regular basis. Tuna Cup was on a bit of a hiatus because of HomeStory Cup, but Tuna Cup and SDO come back this week. They will be back this week. And again, you can support our events and help us grow our tournaments via the Patreon. Do check it out. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks so much for the support. We do appreciate it. We'll see you guys tomorrow for some HomeStory Cup action. Tomorrow, we're going to be back with the replays of HomeStory Cup. Again, I'm curious if my assumptions about those matches bear fruits. We'll see as we get into that over the said weekend. Likewise, CranKy gathers this weekend as well, and our own open tournaments. Until then, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Ciao. Bye. Ciao. See you next time.